Hello, everybody. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. I have a very unique show today. You know, everybody that watches the show, you know that we love talking about health. We love preventative health, and we love what it takes to keep a healthy mind, body, and spirit. And of course, when we talk about health, one thing we always talk about is cardiovascular health, of course. And we were thinking about who are the leaders in the field and their respective spaces that could come on and teach us a little bit about what they do as an entrepreneur, what they do in their business, and teach us a little bit about what it takes to sort of understand where you currently sit in terms of your own health. So, of course, we reached out to Mr. Victor Bonney. Victor is the founder and chief executive officer of the Gemini Imaging Group, and he's got a great company. He does a mobile ultrasound technology where he goes out and he goes to various places, and he's really focusing in on the ultrasound of the heart. And these ultrasounds can really tell you a lot about your heart. I mean, everybody needs one, just to let you know where you're at right now. Victor, welcome to the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Thank you. Nice to be here. How are you today?
It's great to have you, Victor. It's great to have you. You've built a great company, Gemini Imaging Group. Before we get into it, because we have so many questions, and so many questions have come in from our viewers, you know, with regard to the next time we have somebody in this space on the show. Tell us about Gemini. Tell us what it's all about, and then we're going to get into it.
Okay. Gemini is like you mentioned before, a cardiovascular ultrasound company. We go out to doctors' offices, continuing care facilities, and also freestanding imaging centers. We also look at patients directly. We have them come to our offices for exams. Now, this can be either through referrals or cash payments. Either way, we can do it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes all the sense in the world, Victor. Let's talk about it, okay? Because right now you're sort of based in Maryland, the District of Columbia, Colorado. I know you're looking to expand the business. You've really created what I call the gold standard in full imaging services, of course, because you really understand the needs and challenges really of today's independent physician, as well as what the clients need. When we do the ultrasound, let's just talk about a little bit, because it's going to be very fascinating for our viewers. Let's say you ultrasound my heart. What can you find out about my heart that I don't already know?
Well, a lot of people don't really do imaging on a regular basis, which is not needed. However, by the time some people do see us, usually in their 40s, we usually find people who acquire like hypertension or diabetes or things of that sort that that can be manageable. It gives the doctor information on whether to put their patients on medications or not, or just exercise or diet. It depends on what we find there. However, we can find a lot of illnesses that patients may not have known that they had due to genetics or just poor environment living. For those patients, we hurry up and get them immediate care, to prolong life. And with those, you may find excessive fluid around the heart, thickening of the valves, dilated aortas, enlargement heart due to poor diet and things of that sort. So it's a whole array of information that you can find just from ultrasound itself, especially cardiac.
Wow, it's so interesting. Of course, everybody needs this. I would imagine once they get into their 40s and 50s, or if their doctor prescribes it or they find something else. When we think about it, let's say I want to have one of your, technicians come out, from Gemini and do an ultrasound on my heart. How long does it take to get the results back? Is it immediate? Does it take a few days? Who's reading the results? How does all that work?
Well, to step back a little, the reason for Gemini existed was the mere fact that I found a kind of flaw in the whole imaging process. In other words, you would have doctors that have machines, sometimes they were out of date. You would have the server that they would upload the studies, and that would be a different company. And then you have the person that performs the exam who had no responsibilities towards the patient or the doctors that they were servicing. Gemini changed all that by bringing it all in-house and making a system that works flawlessly from the beginning of the referral all the way through to the exam, the kind of machines which are state of the art, to the server, which is kind of AI based, that lets our physicians know when the exam is ready to be read. And then once read, it automatically sent out to the primary care physicians without any gaps or sending it by UPS or anything like that. So it's all iCloud based.
Wow, Victor, it's a seamless platform that you've built. I mean, I love it from A to Z. You found a big problem that it was disjointed before you sort of looked at it and you said to yourself, wow, there has to be a better way. Let's solve this problem. It's a little choppy. It's a little disjointed. It doesn't quite fit together right. So you've come in and you put together this remarkable package at Gemini that really is a seamless, what I call package now, or seamless platform, of course. Now, Victor, when we think about it, we think about health, okay? And we think about entrepreneurship. I would imagine when you wake up in the morning and you know that you're going to perhaps maybe even save some lives for that day, that's got to be a great way to get some pep in your step in the morning, right?
It is. Yes.
Yeah, I love it so much. So when you think about it and you think about sort of the imaging process and you think about the team that you have, how important is it, Victor, as an entrepreneur, when you've been building Gemini, to have a great team that you've been surrounded by to take it from point A to Z and, build this wonderful company?
It does take time to find the right people, the right dedication, the right hunger in order to have a successful business and have it move almost seamlessly. I do have great talent of sonographers. Those are the people doing the exams, and physicians who read the exams. And we all work together. We all have meetings, make sure we all on the same platform. And if our customers who are doctors or patients have issues, our doctors don't have a problem with reaching out to them or having those patients reach out to them to explain any issues that may be a little over their head.
Yeah,
So,
that makes all the sense in the world, Victor. I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about primary care physicians, the independent ones. I would imagine that when they engage with your company, I mean, it's a great, great partnership. Am I right?
Yes. We look very carefully at the way that we help our primary care physicians, because they are the first people that the patients see. And, we want to make sure that they are equipped with the kind of information that when they send a patient that may need a specialist, that they are more confident in sending these patients to them, knowing that they're getting the best care. And everything that we've done at Gemini is transparent. So there's nothing hidden.
Yeah, I like that so much. Of course, you're an experienced industry leader. You're a go-to leader in the field. How did you get started with this? Were you doing the scans yourself, and then you decide, hey, maybe I can become an entrepreneur and build a business? What's the story behind the whole thing? Because it's very remarkable.
I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. To what I wasn't sure of, I just happened to come across becoming a sonographer kind of by accident. I did have a lot of college credits that were in the medical industry, and I just decided to finish it up and get into this profession. And I also mentioned to myself that if I was going to get into this profession, that it would have to be all deals in, not half cocked. So, but what I come to learn that a lot of issues that other sonographers or even professionals have is that the two doesn't mix. Your profession and business kind of needs a buffer in between in order for it to really work seamlessly. And I've noticed this from the sonographers that were already out there doing the business, and they kind of found themselves into a dead end because they were taught how to do the profession and they did it well, but they weren't exactly taught how to be a professional business owner. And I kind of put the two together, and it was rough. It took me over 10 years to actually do it. And then the other challenge came into what kind of vendors would come in to work with me. Because as a sonographer, then a business owner, they don't see you as the same. You know, you're either a doctor or nurse, they work better with you. Your sonographer is like, shouldn't you be working for somebody? You know, so it's kind of, it took a while for me to break down a lot of barriers. And yeah, it took over a decade, and I have the success to show for it.
Yeah, I love it. You're what we call a 10-year overnight success, Victor. It's really great. And it's a great entrepreneurial story for the entrepreneurs watching the show. Rewind what Victor just said. He gave you a little mini Harvard MBA right there about what it takes to sort of take your passion and then turn it into a business. And like Victor says, it's not always easy to do something great and then become a real business person or an entrepreneur. And Victor's been able to do it over this 10-year overnight success that he's had. And of course, by building this framework and building this foundation and building this platform, Victor has done such a great job throughout the years by putting together something that really resonates for the clients in the medical field. So it's really great. Victor, when we think about entrepreneurship, you know, we have a lot of younger people that watch the show. Maybe they're experiencing a big pothole in the road. Maybe they're experiencing a wall that they're having a tough time getting through. I'm hoping you might be able to share some of your insight based on your path to the younger entrepreneurs watching the show about what it takes to get through a tough time in entrepreneurship as an entrepreneur.
Well, as I have learned, read a lot of business information, magazines, books, autobiographies, news, even some movies can give you some details and encouragement. Then put it into work and never quit. You'll hear that from time to time from a lot of gurus out there. Never quit. And the world will test you. And even now today, I'm still being tested, but I never quit because I know that success is just one step away from anywhere. And as far as Gemini is concerned, to help people, to help professionals, especially sonographers in the field, putting together a licensing platform to help them with some of the hurdles that they would definitely come across. That working with Gemini, it would give them steps forward. And like I said, we're looking for passionate people to do this because our time is very, very, very tight. So we don't have time for people that want us to do the work. We'll help you, we'll work with you, but we're not going to do it for you, you know, and you're not doing it alone. You're doing it as a group, which will give you more energy and more power to push through hurdles that even Gemini hasn't come across with combining with other people as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I love it, Victor. Of course, that licensing platform is sort of the run to daylight where you're going next. Let's talk about that a little bit. How does that work? Let's say you have a stenographer out there and they've heard about Gemini, all the great work you're doing. How does that connect? You know, how are you envisioning this licensing platform connecting to the individual, you know, stenographers out there?
Well, first we have to interview and see if they qualify for it. You know, we're investing a lot of time, money, and a lot of resources. So they have to pass that part. Then the second part will be introducing them to being established. And once we get them established, then we have two kind of platforms for them to follow. The immediate cash platform which is what I mentioned before, working with physicians immediately because that is cash on hand. Then as they go through the process to become a provider, that is the more financial stability platform, but it takes a little bit longer because they have to be recognized as a provider with the states and insurance companies and so on and so forth. But once they have that, then the open FOIA is more broader for them because then they're not stuck at any one particular office. They're able to open the office and have patients come directly to them.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great idea. You know, you're really putting people in the position to win, putting people in the position to take their expertise and expand it based on your background and experience and your sort of unique way in which you've structured the platform. And it makes all the sense in the world. I love that so much. That's great thinking. Now, when we think about entrepreneurship, Victor, one thing that resonates for everyone that watches the show is we talk about corporate culture. And corporate culture always starts at the top. So what types of things are important to you to get across to the people that work within the Gemini platform as its leader? You know, what type of approach, what type of commitment, what type of mind do they need to be successful, and what you want to come from you so that they learn it from the top?
Well, one of the most important things is the teaching of the transition from being an employee to self-employed to business owner and then to investor. And what I mean by that is most of sonographers nowadays are employees. One of the issues I mentioned earlier is that they would take that employee mentality and try to apply it and become a business owner. It doesn't work. You have to, it's a totally different ballpark. So they figured that, okay, we're going to go into being self-employed. The problem with being self-employed is the business is built around you. So that doesn't work if you want to upscale. So we try to give them the mindset of being a business owner. In other words, when they're on vacation, the company is still running, it's still working. And that's exactly what's going on with me, with Maryland's division. I haven't been there in about a year, and it's still profitable. The next level would be investor, which I am doing now, investing my time and money and resources to future sonographers who want to be self-independent and upscale it to the point where I'm at so that they can also have money that's coming in residual time and time again until they sell a business or whatever they see fit in the future.
I love it, Victor. You know, you're helping others build and create wealth for multi-generational wealth. I love that so much. That's great. Such a great mission. Now, you know, Victor, when we think about it, and again, thank you so much for cutting some time out for us today. I know you're super busy with this expansion and everything else that you're doing. When we think about what you're doing with Gemini, one thing stands out that you like to mentor others. You like to help others. You like to teach others in a way that's very meaningful to them so that they can have this multi-generational wealth and sort of like get this recurring income and do something on their own that really makes sense for them and their families. Let's talk about mentorship. How important has mentorship been to you? Do you have mentors, or have you had mentors along the way that have taught you, things that you needed to learn to become a successful executive?
Yes. I've had more distant mentors than personal ones. I did have someone who used to work for a Fortune 500 company, but he had passed about 3 years into me founding Gemini. However, one of the main things that you do learn is that you don't have to have just one mentor. And you don't have to have just one mentor in one particular area. Everything in life, you can be mentored in. Doesn't mean that you have to follow everything, but you're able to get more information and apply it to you and see how it works for you. And that's pretty much what I feel what mentorship is about. I can't make people do things. I can't just give people something and expect them to do it right. I can only offer things as it was offered to me. And if it works for me, then I'm more thankful for it. If it doesn't work for me, I'm still thankful for it because I'm still learning about why it didn't work for me. And maybe it can work for someone else.
Yeah, it's great advice. And of course, you're well read. You like to read. You like to stay up on all the new things that are happening in medicine, of course, imaging, and really stay abreast of what's happening so you can take all that information and put it into the business and keep the business sailing very, very strong. Victor, for the stenographers out there who are watching the show, what do you want to say to them? What do you want to impart on them? What type of message do you want them to learn from you right now about what they're doing and what the future may behold if they sort of connect to the right organization?
Well, I would like to say that having an ultrasound business is kind of like the redheaded stepchild. When you look at ultrasound in general, there's not a lot of places or professions where you can utilize sonography. Either you're on the bedside, or you're in research, or you're teaching, or even outside of it, you're administrator to over other imaging groups that really is not catered to ultrasound by itself, or you're selling machines or servers or doing accreditation. Everything else you can find information on except for ultrasound business. And I want to put the word out there that ultrasound business can work. It has worked, and I would like to be one of the first to introduce that business and ultrasound can work together, and it can be profitable, and it can be self-efficient.
Yeah, that's powerful. Sonographers have opportunities if they start listening to the people that want what's best for them. You've done such a great job in your business, of course, and what you're doing at Gemini is remarkable, Victor. I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today. I have a final question that I want to ask you because I think it would be fascinating for our viewers to sort of learn about this from, someone that's the 10-year overnight success that I call you. What's your why? What gets Victor Bonney getting up in the morning? Why do you, put your pants on one leg at a time and get walking and get moving and get going?
Well, if I'd like to expand on just the why. I'll start off with the why. Why I do this is because I think that patients should be armed with the kind of medical information about themselves so that when they'll know what's the next step for them, as opposed to being left in the dark. Now, is that through their doctor? Okay, that's fine. But I want to make sure that the patients understand what's going on with themselves. And also for the profession. It's a great profession being in the ultrasound. You're the decision decider or maker of people's health. In other words, what you're recording in your exam helps to make a decision whether a patient will go this way or that way. And that's very powerful. And it was downplayed over the years, especially when I got into this field back in 2000. So I want to make sure that sonographers understand that we're arming ourselves with the knowledge. I mean, we have sonographers with master's degree and they're kept silent. Why? They bring so much to the table. And hopefully I'll be able to help them express it more, not just for educational purposes or anything like that, but for business purposes as well, because you're more independent out on your own when you have a business, as opposed to being in a hospital. And to expand it, how I do it, you do it more efficiently. You don't waste time. Patients have things they need to do. Patients need information right away. So if you're lacking in your ability to do something in the right way, you're lacking their growth and getting help. But the most important thing, once again, is I love arming patients with information and the profession and as well as the other sonographers to empower them to move forward.
I love it. It's such a great mission that you have at Gemini, and you're doing such great work. And I can totally see that. I totally understand what you're saying. It resonates for me because you put the patients first, and you don't want the patients in the dark. And it's a very powerful position when you do an image and you can say to someone, it looks great, or, it comes back from the physicians looking at it, looks great, God bless, move on your merry way and congratulations, or perhaps on the other side of the coin where there might be something that they have to take care of, or there might be something that they, need to look at a little bit more closely, or have their primary care physician sort of start treating them for. So it's such a powerful position. It's such a great type of a career for people. And of course, when they get this licensing platform that you can put together for them with this seamless integration that you've put together and become famous for at Gemini, it's just a remarkable way for a sonographer to go. So Victor, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today. I'm going to have you back on the show again because there's so much to unpack with you. And thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Look forward to seeing you again.